I wanted to give like a quick little intro to this video. I realize a lot of the time my intros are quite long and I'm trying to cut them down, but I did want to talk about the reason why I'm celebrating Yule this year. I've never been religious, I didn't grow up religious or anything, and my dad has always, I don't know that he ever would classify himself as a pagan, but he's been very close to nature, very like spiritual and kind of the energy of the universe, and I have always felt the same way. And growing up in the mountains of Colorado, I was very spoiled with nature, and moving away from that, I felt that I actually moved away from that part of myself as well, of really loving nature and embracing that sort of energy and the energy of the natural world. And now that I've moved to a place, not only physically but spiritually, mentally, to a place where I am much more in tune with who I am in my own spiritual journey, I wanted to celebrate this year Yule. And I've always kind of known about winter solstice. I've known about the solstices and I've not really celebrated them too much. Like this year I celebrated my first summer solstice. And so this year I decided, well, if I did summer solstice, I definitely want to do winter solstice. So I picked up this book from Amazon, and I actually have a few of her books from this author who, she does one for every single witch holiday or seasonal rite of the year, and basically tells you the background of it and how to celebrate it and where it came from, who still celebrates it today, rituals, all of that stuff. It's very cool. It's very insightful. I learned a lot by reading it, and obviously I still look on the internet for a lot of information because I'm a millennial, I grew up on the internet, but it is cool to have like an actual book to reference from. So, all that being said, I never really felt a tie to Christmas. I'm still going to celebrate Christmas, but I feel such a stronger tie to celebrating nature and the earth and the universe, and I feel like winter solstice / Yule celebrates that more. So that is why I'm doing it this year, and I wanted to show you all of the ways that I'm decorating for it. It's very inspired off of natural materials. A lot of food is used to decorate the home, so this stuff doesn't really last super long. Obviously it's not like plastic or man-made materials, and it's really fun. It's a bit like a fleeting moment when you have this decoration, but I think that's sort of the fun. It's seasonal and it's not going to last forever. I just wanted to show you what I did, and if you are interested, how to celebrate it for yourself as well. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Oh, also I'll link this book below along with the other ones that I have in case you're interested in learning about these as well. So my first decoration is dried grapefruits and dried oranges, and you can see that I'm cutting them pretty fine slices. Probably could do better than I did, but it doesn't have to be perfect, obviously. And now as I'm cutting the orange, you can see how pretty the inside looks, like a little star, and when you dry it, it comes out a lot more. And for whatever reason, my cats were just completely fascinated by me cutting up this fruit. I have no idea why. It's not like it's the first time I ever cut fruit before, but it was very cute. So once I removed my cat and cut all of my slices of oranges and grapefruits, I started lining this baking sheet, and this was my first mistake. I should have put parchment paper or sprayed it. It turned out okay, but you are supposed to do that. It's recommended, so I recommend doing that as well. And then I set the oven for 200 degrees and waited longingly. And then about every hour I went and I flipped each slice over so that it could dry out evenly. I put them in for 10 hours total. It's kind of trial and error. I think that you could probably do less or more and play around with it, but that's what I did. Then while I was waiting for that to bake, I started stringing along my cranberry garland, and I used this kind of stretchy string type stuff and a giant needle that I got from Michael's, and just started poking a hole through one side, coming out the other, and stringing them in until I created a long enough garland that I felt would be perfect for my tree. I really enjoy activities like this where I can just turn my brain off and enjoy the monotony of it and put like a audiobook on or some kind of festive music for the time of year and just lose myself in it. Once I finished my garland, I went out back and kind of looked for something close to a pine tree. I believe this is called a Virginia pine tree, and we don't have very many of them around where I live, but I do have this small one outside my backyard, and as you can see, this door is not easy to open. But once I got it open, I crawled back there and just tried to get a few, not too many, but just a few little branches here and there that I could use for a wreath that I'm making later on in the video. I wish that I could find the right words to describe to you how this smells. I'm so bad at descriptive words and I would like to get better, but it's just like a citrusy, sugary, almost woodsy smell, and it smells kind of like an expensive perfume. Hey buddy. And all it is just oranges baking in the oven. I don't know, it's really nice. So if you ever want your house to just smell like a citrusy themed bakery, just dry some oranges. It's honestly a really nice smell. I really enjoy it. And I think my cats are very interested in the smell as well because they've never really smelled anything like this. Hi, buddy. Hey. Alright, so that has to go in for 10 hours, and I'm going to check about every 1 hour. I'm going to check them and then flip them. I did simultaneously make this little garland out of cranberries, and I'm going to make more once the oranges come out. I'm going to make a garland with oranges and cranberries, and these will probably go in my windows. I would like them to go on the tree, but my cats, they're just little fiends and they love to go after anything that's within pawing distance, and I already know I'm going to have trouble with the tree this year, so I don't want to put any food on the tree because I just know that they're going to go after it. But traditionally you are supposed to put, I think, this stuff on the tree. It's the way that they would decorate it. So if you do not have pets at home, or you don't have cats that you know are going to go after your tree, I think it's very nice to put on your tree as decoration. So this is how my dried fruit slices turned out. I think they look pretty good. I will say that I think I should have left them in longer on a lower heat setting to make them maybe slightly less brown, but I also read that it depends on the type of orange that you use, and for this one I used navel oranges, so maybe if I did a different type of orange I might get more of a rich color. But however, first time I think it turned out pretty good, and now at this point I'm just stringing them on a garland using all of the cranberries and the dried fruit slices that I made, kind of creating a fun little decoration that will go in the window to kind of catch the sun, because the representation of this is actually the sun. So fun fact, orange slices are supposed to symbolize the sun because after winter solstice, the days technically start to get longer, even though the winter does feel
quite dark and cold. It is the shortest day of the year, and after that, the days start to get longer. So that is what the symbolism is, and also to symbolize the hope for the increase of our love and our life and joy and happiness. Now, I obviously said in the beginning of the video I wasn't going to use this fruit to decorate my tree. However, I felt that maybe if I put it up high enough, my cats wouldn't be interested in it, especially because it's dried fruit, and the cranberries they didn't really seem interested in either. But as you can see from that video I put previously, Winston was very interested in all of these things, and I definitely should not have put them in the tree, but they did look very pretty. And then now I'm making these pine cone ornaments, which I got these pine cones from Trader Joe's. They're just the cinnamon ones that you can get, but obviously if you can find them around your house foraging, that's much better. But I couldn't, so I got these big ones from the store. And then I found this twine and just wrapped it around. And as far as knots go, if you can't tie a knot, tie a lot, I think is what they always say. And that's all I gotta say about that. If anything about this time of year I appreciate the most, it's just that I feel like I can slow down and just really embrace quiet moments. And even in the dark, hanging out with my cats by some candles, it just feels very calm and peaceful. Not something that I experience year-round. So the last decoration that I made was this wreath that I used a lot of different materials, a lot of stuff that I had made in the beginning of the video and stuff I collected outside. I also found this live wreath from Trader Joe's, and I decided to use it along with the pine needles that I had found outside my backyard just because I couldn't find very many out there and I didn't want to take the whole tree. So I just started by using this kind of like wiry twine to wrap the pine around this metal wreath that I got from the dollar store actually. And then I hot glued all of the pine needle stuff that I got from my backyard. I also found this, I believe it was called deer moss from the dollar store, which it smelled very strange. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if it was real or not, but I threw it away pretty much as soon as I was done using it because it just smelled very odd. But yeah, so then I basically just made this sort of half moon wreath looking thing. Once I had all of the greenery, I decided to put a few of my oranges that I had dried on there, as well as some of the cranberries. And while I know that this isn't going to last very long because it is all live or natural materials, it is still very beautiful and fun, and I think that it's something that is much more sustainable than the plastic wreaths that I have used in the past. So it feels very cool to make my own, and I think I'm going to keep reusing this metal wreath base for the different seasons as well.